The following program is produced entirely by the television production students at Southeast High School, in partnership with Kaiser University and with the medical experts at Intercoastal Cardiology in Sarasota.
A little more now.
Hola y buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Don y conmigo Scott. ¿Cómo estás, Scott?
I'm doing fine, Don. How are you?
Hold it. I'm getting something in my ear. You know what? This is not in Spanish tonight. We're doing the English broadcast. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry.
You thought it was Senor Night.
I thought it was Senor Night. Live from Southeast High School at Seminole Softball. Today's contest is between the Tornadoes of Booker and the Seminoles of Southeast. I'm Don McGee, and I'll be bringing you the play-by-play of tonight's contest. And sitting next to me is Coach Scott Stevens. He'll be describing all of tonight's action. In order to get us started, maybe you could give us a little, tell us who's up and ready to go.
Wow, yeah, I guess I could. Jemiah Woodard's going to lead it off for the Tornadoes here, number 23.
The first pitch is a strike.
Jemiah's a catcher tonight. In the games they played against Southeast, she has really been a tough out for us.
Well, you got 2 strikes on her. First 2 pitches, that's a good sign. I got the first 2 pitches in for strikes from Megan Stevens, pitching for Southeast. And a changeup going to the shortstop over there, and throws her out at first base. So 6-3. We got 1 out, 1 down. Coming up next for Booker is Chanel Elliott, number 12. She's the second baseman for Booker. Chanel is a senior also, one of the ones they introduced today. So let's see if she can get them started. She turns to bunt, and the ball's high for ball 1.
Just a little high, just a little high.
Yeah, sure, just a little high.
So Don, senior night here tonight, big night. Big game for the Seminoles. Yeah. This is always, if you want to win a game, this is the one you want to win.
We got a strike for bring the count to 1-1 on Chanel. Yeah, senior night. We got 6 seniors from Southeast, 4 from Booker. And a ball for ball 2. We had, just prior to us coming on board, coming alive here, we had senior night, and all 6 of our seniors from Southeast were honored with their parents or their whoever. And there's a foul ball by Chanel, bringing the count to all even, 2-2. And all 6 were looking pretty good up there. It's kind of interesting. Most years there's not 6 seniors on the team. So this is the first year we have that many in a long time.
Last year was 1. So, wow, that pitch looked good.
That looked really good, but apparently it was inside, so
he was
brings the count full, 3-2.
Taking a hard look at that pitch.
There's a strike. Going to be pound, and she's out.
Nice catch by Emma Rissman at second base on that routine fly ball. 2 up, 2 down.
That was a routine, but you could see that the sun is just above, right around where her eyes are up there.
Yeah, 2 steps in and you're out of it.
Yep.
1 step back and you're going to have trouble with that ball.
You got to use that glove or your hand to block that sun out for you. Okay, one in the dirt. KT Sepper is up, the pitcher for Booker. KT is pitched, as you were telling me, I believe, Coach Scott. She's pitched every pitch for Booker this year. Is that correct?
This is an interesting game. You just don't see this with teams. And we're between Katie Sepper for the Tornadoes and Megan Stevens for the Seminoles. These 2 young ladies have pitched every single pitch for their team so far this season.
That's amazing.
It is, and it's a good testament to how hard these girls work to stay in shape, to not be injured. The other side of it is both of these teams are thin at pitching, is kind of how that works. So most teams are going to be 2-3 deep on pitching. It's not a luxury that either of these teams have. Luckily, these girls have stepped up. Right now we got a pinch runner.
Our pinch runner is Miss Randall. She's also a senior coming in, number 10, to pinch run or courtesy run for the pitcher, KT Center. Up is Brandy Thibodeau. Brandy is a senior. She's their shortstop. And as we all know, the cleanup hitter is usually your number 1 or 2 hitters.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, KT certainly put a charge in that one into the gap and was held to a single, so that was good. Ball just a touch low for ball 1.
It was interesting to the outfield, but it still didn't look like she got enough on it. Like it was almost off the end of the bat, but she's a strong kid.
She
able to put that ball over.
She muscled it out there. You're absolutely right. There's a pass ball. Or
so Brandy Thibodeau chasing that nice changeup, dropping in front of the plate. With that, runner advances to second.
Brings the count all even, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think getting past this first inning is pretty important with Southeast. And she fouls off a pitch that might have been just a touch out of the zone. But now that brings the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. So she's got to be up there protecting. And strike 3.
And gets her swinging. So a nice inning. I'll tell you, this is key for the Seminoles. When they can start off strong the first inning, they're in for a good game. Where they start off behind, which has been the case pretty much a lot this season, I'll be honest with you. You know, it's when it's an uphill battle, it's like that in any sport for any team. But it's really nice to see them get off to a strong start against the top of the order. 4 up, 3 down. Not much better than that. None on the board.
You can't ask for much better than that. Just like you said, that one single by the pitcher, KT, was in the gap, but it looked like it was off the end of her bat, so she wasn't able to advance much more on that. Well, we'd like to send out a big thanks to tonight's quality assurance team from theCUBE, who is monitoring the signal of this broadcast from their production facilities in San Francisco to the world. And as you enjoy today's live broadcast on theCUBE, we'd like to remind you that you can watch a replay of tonight's game starting immediately after we sign off on the SCTV Cube. So come back often to watch a replay of tonight's exciting action, and be sure to tell your friends and relatives. Well, our first batter for Southeast is going to be Megan Stevens, the pitcher.
So Meg's been hitting leadoff this entire season. Done a nice job getting it going. We'll see if she can get it going tonight. Key for her is really going to be pitch selection.
She drives the first pitch right to the third baseman, who makes a dart throw over to first for the first out.
So Meg's one, if the ball's there and is one she can hit, she'll go for it. Swings a lot of first pitches when they're there. Not that she's not patient when she has to be, but just not able to roll over on that a little bit. That brings up Brianna Mays.
Brianna Mays is playing right field tonight. Turns the bunt, and a little poke and choke there.
So Brianna comes in hitting .265 tonight. Respectable batting average. She's a freshman this year. Done a real nice job for us in the outfield.
Made a great catch last night in the game I saw. Shoestrings. Strike 2. Looks like KT is on it tonight. She's throwing strikes.
And Katie Sepper gave us fits last time. The last time we played on February 23rd, Booker won that game 5-0. Ooh, nice change up
strike
there.
3 and a
change
change. Yep.
Hard pitch to lay off.
Well, you know, Southeast should be looking for that, though. I mean, I think if I remember the last game, she did the same thing. She got ahead by 2 strikes, and she was up 1-2, 0-2, even 2-2. She'd throw that changeup and get them swinging.
Sometimes
strike 1 to Ivy Turner, the catcher for Southeast.
It'll sometimes take a turn through the order to get used to it and kind of remember what she did last time.
Yeah, that's why going to school on them before you get up to that plate is pretty important. Swing and a foul ball. 2 strikes on the batter.
So Ivy Turner comes in hitting .318, second on the team. Another freshman, done a fantastic job behind the plate.
And there we go with that changeup. And strike 3.
Okay.
Swinging.
So I guess the key is going to look for that changeup with 2 strikes.
Yeah,
when
I
she's
think we
up in
called
the
it
count.
earlier. Okay, after the first inning, the score is 0-0. We'll be right back for the second inning after these important public service announcements. You're watching Seminole Baseball on SETV. In the last game, we can maybe go expound upon that. We didn't talk about their records. We did get into their seniors, though.
Okay.
Okay, we're back here live at Southeast for a great, what a night for softball, Coach Scott.
It's been a whole season like this.
This is just amazing.
Few cold games early, and since then, you know, a little sunny lately, but we've had some really fantastic weather, and once that sun goes down, it's absolutely perfect. Couldn't have asked for a better season so far weather-wise.
You couldn't. I remember a couple years ago, there was one night it was 25 degrees. We haven't had anything like that this year.
Nope, thank goodness. I'll take it.
Okay, coming up to the plate for Booker, Sierra Morrison, the first baseman, number 16. And a little low for ball 1.
Starts off with that changeup. But just the one thing I like is pretty much you'll see that changeup on any pitch and any pitch count from Megan
And that
Stevens.
throws a strike right on the outside corner. Perfect pitch. It looks like the Coach Dowling has him up there looking at pitches. Quite a few pitches here at first. And pops it up to center field. Emma Bard just makes a nice grab coming all the way in. With her legs, she just can get almost anywhere from center field all the way to the infield and left and right.
Yeah, Emma can cover a lot of ground. Wasn't sure how tough that was going to be, like we said, with that sun, and she's right at the edge of that, sunshine. But nice play.
Up comes Kateria Murray, the third baseman, who made a nice out last time with that throw to first on Megan Stevens' first pitch. And bunts it foul. Bring the count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Saw both the third baseman and first baseman crashing on that one. Second baseman covering first base. Shortstop covering second. Change up for a strike. That's about as if you can throw that change up for a strike, Coach Stevens, that's just amazing.
Yeah, if she's on tonight with that pitch, it's just like we're seeing from Booker, it can be deadly.
Little outside.
So timing her up, a couple things are going to make that change up effective. One is going to be, and probably the biggest key, is that you can sell it, that it looks like your fastball. So the key is that the pitcher doesn't give it away or have a tell when they do that. 2 is you're looking for the difference in speed, and so the difference in speed between her changeup and her fastball is about 13, 14 miles an hour, which is pretty significant.
That's a lot. If you have it 10 miles an hour, that's pretty good. Anything over that is really going to throw off that batter.
And of course, the other thing is being able to locate that pitch. So ideally, you want that maybe to the outside of the plate, falling a little bit short. It can be a dangerous pitch if it's not working, and you tend to hang it over the plate.
And strike 3.
Comes back. So what we're seeing is a nice capability to change up speeds tonight. And so far, if we can keep the hitters off balance with their timing, things are going to go well.
And she's hitting her locations too. That ball was pretty close to being right down the middle, and the change of speed really threw her off. Turns the bunt, short bunt, and she's out at first. 3 up, 3 down for the Tornadoes.
So 1-3 on the coverage of the bunt.
That was T.T. Sanders.
Another fantastic inning for the Seminoles. Nice replay on that too. Excellent work by a camera crew.
Yeah, they caught that well.
I want to talk about this because some broadcasts, I always forget to do this. We get talking so much about softball, but talking about what the TV department here at Southeast does. This entire broadcast is produced, filmed, everything by the students here in the TV club, and they do an outstanding job.
They certainly do. Not only do a great job, but not only are they doing everything, they're also directing it, and I think that's pretty amazing. Now, you have a couple advisors here, and they help out, but pretty much just like you say, everything is put on the students themselves. Well, we encourage everyone who's watching tonight to like the SCTV page, Facebook page at facebook.com/SEHS Television. And send it on to your family and friends. You'll get updates of all the SCTV broadcasts for the Seminole Nation. Don't forget, we got Spring Fling coming up May 12th. That should be the next broadcast because this is the last live sports broadcast for the season. And number 16 for Southeast is Shaylin, and she's Shaylin Holt, and she waited on that pitch nicely. She held back because that was an off speed. She turns to bunt. Looks like she's going to poke and choke, and does, and takes a nice cut, but it goes back for a foul for strike 2.
So Shaylene, another freshman on his team. Interesting. We're heavy on seniors, but we got a really good freshman class in this year. Shaylene being one of those. Comes in hitting 268 in this game.
She accidentally hit the dirt with her bat, hit the clay, and then it went into the catcher's face. So she got some in her eye. So
I wonder what was going on.
Hopefully she can
say the pitcher still got the ball and there's dirt kicking up at the plate here.
Almost past the first baseman. A little foul ball. Keeps the count at 2 strikes.
Shaylene getting out, not trying to do too much with that pitch. A little to the outside of the plate. Takes it down to first baseline. Just foul. So Shaylene looking to get something going here for the Seminoles. Again, Katie Sepper with 2 strikeouts in that first inning.
Well,
and
Shaylene's not afraid to hit that ball.
No, she's not. So nice job. Sepper going for the outside of the plate here, trying to get her to chase. But Shaylene Holt doing a nice job getting that bat out, just fouling it off, stay alive. Definitely determined to not go down looking.
Still 2 strikes. And she's battling. After a while, and low from ball 1. After a while, you see enough pitches, you start recognizing them, and then you can wait for your pitch and drive it.
Well, we'll see if she makes a mistake. Shaylene can.
Shay was a little worried about that one. It was high, it was out of the zone, but she was protecting up there. Keeps the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And high for ball 2.
Nice job laying off that pitch. That's not an easy one to lay off, right at the top of the numbers.
I
Those
thought that
pitches tend to look good.
It was pretty smart on the pitcher's part for coming back with that pitch like that.
If you saw that last shot, a little smirk by Katie Sepper. It looked like she knew where she wanted to put that ball in. A nice drive. Wow.
She caught it right on her shoes.
Oh my God.
She caught it right off her shoelace.
I thought for sure that ball was dropping. It looked like it all day and carried just enough. Wow, so great contact by Shaylene Holt. I'm amazed that ball stayed up.
T.T. Sanders out in left field, making a nice shoestring grab. And up comes Christina Olin, a senior on the team. Turns the poke after the choke and takes the ball outside for a strike. Well, she swung at it, but.
So that hurts. The last time these two teams played, it was in February. Southeast managed just 2 hits off of Sepper. We lost 5-0. So obviously, you know, getting on base is going to be key. That one would have been big, having a leadoff batter on to start this second inning on a well-struck ball. But nice job by the Tornadoes defense. Unfortunately, but good for them.
Swing and strike for strike 2. That's 1 ball, 2 strikes on the batter, Christina Olin. Again, one of our vaunted seniors here at Southeast. And a shot! Oh my gosh!
Wow.
What a great grab by the third baseman.
I'll tell you what, if they can get defense like this behind their pitching, it's going to be tough. Fantastic, well-struck ball.
It was very interesting. I was talking to the coaches at Booker, and they were saying their problem has been defense this year, that they just don't have the defense. Well, I'll tell you what, either they changed a lot one day or I don't know what, because the last 2 plays have been spectacular. Well, up to the plate is Evan Rissman, the second baseman, who drives one. And she's out, just
And again,
barely.
nice recovery by the defense on a bobbled ball. So the Seminoles getting about on a ball, but unfortunately nothing to show for it that inning, but it bodes well for the next few innings.
Look pretty good. After the second inning, the score is still 0-0, and we'll be right back for the third inning after these important public service announcements. You're watching Seminole Baseball on SCTV.
What would you do to become a better athlete?
Well, what would you do to be a better athlete? I'll tell you right now, I know none of these girls would do anything like that to be a better athlete. These girls, there's one way to get better at being an athlete, and that's, well, there's 3 ways. Practice, practice, and more practice. And that's what these girls do. Every day they're out here, Monday through Friday, practicing unless there's a game. They start in middle July and go until the end of the districts in at least April. Okay, strike 1 on the batter.
So Mila Morrow up, the right fielder for the Tornadoes, batting in the number 8 slot tonight.
Mila Morris playing right field for Booker. Takes a ball for bring the count even, 1-1. And strike 2. You know, I got to stop calling the strikes before he does.
If you're going to do that, do it loudly, all right?
So he hears it? Okay,
Yeah,
I
sure.
got you.
See what you can influence here, Don.
I got you. And strike 3. Oh, wasn't able to scoop it up. Got a little error.
Surprising on that. Susan Gibson playing third base has been so solid.
So steady, huh?
Comes up, just puts that one a little low. A little too hard for Lindsay to handle at first base. The Tornadoes have the leadoff runner on. A little surprised on that pitch, going with that changeup. At number 8 in the
Foul
order.
ball.
But I can guarantee that there was something they saw on that one.
Well, again, as I was telling you, I was talking to the coaches for Booker before the game, and they were describing what they had to do to win, and they were talking about small ball, and certainly that's what they're trying to do right here with their 7th and 8th players. She's going to go down on the miss, popped out of the glove of the catcher, who was getting ready to throw, but probably had their eye on the rudder as she took off.
Yeah, I don't know if Ivy saw that. Had her all day with the throw because she's been throwing really well to second. Booker able to steal one there.
Brings the count.
Waiting for the call. Batter left the bat out.
Yeah, he didn't call that. Okay.
So nice job by the
on
catcher,
the
Ivy
appeal.
Turner, to appeal
On
that.
the appeal, very good. On the appeal, she's called out for the strikeout.
So heads up by the catcher, Ivy
Very
Turner on
heads
that
up by
one
the catcher.
to get that call. Brings it to 2 strikes.
And up from the plate is Jemiah Woodard, who throws one to short, bobbled, but slows late.
So the
You see the turn towards second there?
yeah, and if you saw that, the runner turns in towards second, she could be tagged out at that point, as long as the first baseman sees it and makes the tag. But big key tonight. We didn't really get to usually have a little more time before the games, but big key tonight for the Seminoles has been kind of the story of the whole season, is being able to limit the errors, and when they do come, to not be able to be able to not string them together. Right here we got errors on the 8-9 hitters. Brings us back to the top of the order.
This is the second batter, by the way. This
Oh.
is Shania Elliott. And
Thank you. I was going to say, I'm
welcome.
off here somewhere.
We started off with number 8, Mila, and then number 9 was Miss Gibbons. And then on base right now is Miss Woodard, who hits one to second base, makes the easy out at first.
So good job to get the out by Emma Rispin on that. Play goes 4-3.
Okay, with 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Up comes KT Setter, who had that nice hit into the gap, albeit off the end of her bat, but still a very nice hit in the gap. So probably pitched pretty carefully. And the umpire calls something out here.
Oh, runner on second, tying her
she's
shoe.
tying her shoe.
Took me a second to
Got a
pick that one
little
up.
timeout. Okay. KT up with 1 ball. Outside for ball 2.
So huge out here if the Seminoles can get it. Get out of this inning without giving up any runs. But Sepper's a tough hitter.
She's a very tough out.
She had that drive into the 7-8 hole.
And there's
last
a foul
inning.
ball, but it's a long drive foul ball.
Well hit, but foul, yeah. With our shot right down the line, I was glad to see that tailing off to the left.
Well, it's just a long strike. And a little high for ball 3. Now this is a dangerous count, right, Coach Scott? 3-1.
We'll see what they do. Whether they're going to challenge her or put it outside, see if she'll chase. With first base open, it's
Right
not
down the
gonna hurt you
middle.
to-
Right down the middle. Nope. Just over the head of the right fielder.
So Brianna
Just gotta
Mays
score
had
2
a
runs
beat on that, but just off the glove.
just off the top. Yep.
Probably fighting that sun a little bit. You see her with the glove up.
That drives in 2 runs for the first 2 scores for Booker.
So I'm not sure how that'll be scored, hit or an error.
I would probably score that a hit. I mean, that was right off the top of her glove. I think she did almost everything she could to get it.
But the first
Step
first
is
2
out.
errors do come back to haunt the Seminoles here.
And right down the line, right past the third baseman. That's going to score another run.
So Brandy Thibodeau sitting back on that changeup. Relay comes in, but looked like Shailene Holt took her eye off to pick up the runner. Not able to handle that.
That was a pretty hard hit down third baseline. And you know what we always say? Hit them hard and good things happen. Well, good things for Booker. Oh, strike, beautiful pitch right at the knees on Sierra Morrison, number 16. Little high, throw down to first. No, she's safe.
So good idea to keep the runner at first base close. Try and keep her honest there.
Well, I don't like making throws to first base unless I really got a chance at them. I like a lot of fake throws, like that right there.
But what it does is help shorten up that lead a little bit at first base.
Oh, absolutely. But making that threatening move sometimes does the same thing. The problem with making that throw down there is bad things can happen. And pops it up to the pitcher for out number 3. Well, they score 3 runs in that half an inning.
So the Tornadoes bring 7 to the plate.
Let's see what Southeast can do to come back. We always talk about winning innings, and now's the opportunity for Southeast to win this inning by scoring 4 runs. Well, as I told you before, I didn't get to finish, so I did want to take and talk about this a little bit because it's so important to Southeast. We encourage everyone who is watching tonight to like the SCTV Facebook page at facebook.com/SEHS television and to send it on to your family and friends. You'll get updates of all the SCTV broadcasts for the Seminole Nation. Not only will SCTV be broadcasting live sporting events in the future, but also music department concerts and special award ceremonies. So like us on Facebook so you can keep abreast of what's happening in and around Southeast High School. That's facebook.com/SEHS television. And as I was saying before, this is the last sporting event of the year for Southeast Television. And I believe the next event they're having is the Spring Fling. And to the best of my knowledge, that's going to be May 12th.
So talk a little bit about the last inning and kind of what's been going on a bit with the Lady Noles this year. These stats are a few games back, about 5 games back, but at the time, Lady Noles had given up 112 runs, 29 of those earned. So you're looking at 75% of the runs this team has surrendered have been unearned runs. And that's what we saw last inning. All 3 of those runs are going to be unearned with those 2 errors early in the inning, where they should have been out of that inning pretty quickly, probably in about 4 batters. So the rest of the game, it's going to be key, is can the Seminoles defense play a clean game here and limit those unearned runs. But they got their work cut out for them now, but they've been 3 up, 3 down these first 2 innings. A few well-hit balls last inning, so that bodes well, but
ooh, almost got between that first baseman again. Seems like we're a little late on those pitches. Is that due to that choke and poke, or is that, what do you think that is?
Well, it's I didn't watch that at bat that closely. That's going to be key on this, is getting because Sepper does pitch with decent speed. If you're going to do that, you've got to get the bat back in time and get the hands reloaded.
Outside.
The other thing, too, though, she's working the outside of the plate. Lindsey Gano tends to hit to the right side anyway.
Right.
So you put all those factors together, it's, I would say, a little bit of a combination on that last at-bat.
And there's another one, just like before,
That
right
time
down
she
to the first base.
ties her up on that inside pitch, gets it in off the handle.
Up next is Susan Gibson, the third baseman. Susan, one of those seniors, batting number 8 for Southeast. And it's swing and a miss at the ball, a little outside. And goes after one high, fouls it back for 2 strikes. Way to get a piece of that big yellow ball.
You got to sing it, Don.
Well, I know. It doesn't sound the same, does it? I mean, you know it does have red stitching, though. I don't know. And
here we go. See, that's going to drop in, and it will. Nice job by Susan Gibson getting the bat on the ball.
First hit for Southeast. That brings up Emma Burgess, the center fielder. Emma's the one that made that great running catch into the infield almost last inning. Turns.
So Emma able to advance the runner.
She got her on the tag.
Yep. And here, watch on the replay here. But yeah, wow.
I don't know if they should actually ask about that for obstruction, but she did have first base blocked.
Yeah.
But nobody's asking for obstruction call, so.
But she did have the ball too. I'm not sure what the call would be
she
on
got
that.
the ball as she was approaching her, so.
Although, yeah, she was definitely in the
play.
baseline before the ball got there.
It was a close play either way. She was blocking first base to start with. I might have asked for an appeal. I might appeal for obstruction on that. Okay, back to the game. 1 ball, no strikes on our leadoff hitter. 2 balls, no strikes, I meant. Megan Stevens, finally gotten around back to her. And a little. Oh! Well, what do you say about that one?
Well, at first I'm saying.
We have a replay on this because I gotta watch this.
At first I'm saying, well, we might catch it. We might catch a break here, but
we got it.
We're not buying a break tonight. Nice job by the third baseman, Victoria Murray, to stay with that ball, keep her eye on it. You know, my hat's off to the defense there, making a play, not giving up on that. But yeah, you'd like a break to go the way of the Knowles here. The pitch just a little high. I know Meg says she likes those. Generally can stay on top of them, but it's a little tougher in live pitching.
Well, I think
that
every softball player in the world, or even baseball player for that matter, likes that pitch high because they get such a great view of it, and it looks really big when it's coming up there. The problem is, almost every time you're going to cut underneath it and you're going to pop it up.
Yeah.
We'd like to send a big thanks to tonight's quality assurance team from theCUBE, who's monitoring the signal of this broadcast from their production facilities in San Francisco, California, to the world. And as you enjoy tonight's live broadcast on theCUBE, we'd like to remind you that you can watch a replay of tonight's game
It all started with just an
immediately after we sign off on the SCTV Cube. So come back often to watch a replay of tonight's exciting action. And be sure to tell your friends and relatives.
Up.
Struck out swinging.
In the second inning. Did you ever get a call from the quality assurance team at theCUBE?
They haven't been calling me lately.
For you, Don?
No, they haven't been calling me recently. They must be I'm doing everything right, huh? They did mention you once, but I don't want to go into that right at this time.
We'll talk about that one later. They sent me a letter.
Well, there's a drive into center field, picked up by the center fielder, and
no strikeout that time. Okay.
I think that Emma had an idea of going to first on that, and
well, she did, but then she
changed her mind in the middle of that throw.
She threw the ball in before she took her eyes to her target. She had a big smile on that one.
Yeah, she did.
Hey, sorry.
Spot for a strike.
Now, last game these two teams played, every time Booker got the leadoff runner on, the number 2 hitter that inning was going to bunt.
Well,
I
agree with that.
They've been true to that.
She certainly went on that one.
This inning as well.
Well, now she's got 2 strikes on her. Let's see if they continue to bunt her, because I do know that. No, I think they're going to hit away. If I can steal the third base coach's signals. Nope, she bunts it for foul for an out.
So the third base coach, Joe Dowling, when he was head coach at Lakewood Ranch, I remember they always do a team T-shirt. And I think one year their shirt slogan was "Bunting is more important than breathing."
There you go.
So huge proponent.
We're going to miss. And Gerald takes
Nice
second.
throw down by Ivy Holt. It's going to be a close play, or excuse me, by Ivy Turner to Shailene Holt. It looked like Shailene was too intent on making that tag, which is surprising.
She was late getting
right
over
there.
second. And there's a drive to first. She'll pick it up, take it herself. Gives us 2 outs with a runner on third.
Ooh, and almost that throw back from Lindsey Gano to make Stevens in the mound almost got away a little bit. You got to be careful with those runners on base. We always tell the kids,
She got a runner on third.
Be careful
She should be
with the
running
ball.
that ball into the pitcher. She shouldn't even be throwing it. She should hand
she
it
did
to
a nice
her.
job hitting the bag, looking back in. She had her eye on that runner. But you don't want to get...
There's a bunt. No. I would have let her have that one.
Yeah, in that case, you know that runner's breaking as soon. But, with 2 outs, it's generally a chance you're going to take if you think you got a play.
Well,
Just didn't quite have a play. That ball really slow getting out to the pitcher.
If Megan would have turned, they would have had her in a pickle right here on third
Yeah,
base.
and that's a good one where if you can make that fake throw, as you were saying, to first,
Right.
turn, and you got that runner pretty much dead to rights.
Yeah, that was not coming back. I got to get my net out. Okay. Jemiah Woodard is up, number 23, the catcher. Got a runner at third, 2 outs. And Southeast trying to limit the damage here to 1 run this inning. Striking right to the center fielder for the final out.
So well hit ball by Jemiah Woodard, but right to the center fielder.
I don't think she had to
Emma
move hardly at
Barges.
all. I think she didn't have to even take a step.
No.
That was pretty good. Well, we've had a history with Booker for quite a while, and I did want to talk a little bit about Booker while we're here. I have been following Booker for the last 10 years, and pretty much when we used to play Booker, it was like, okay, we're going to win 20-0 or 30-0, but they didn't have any pitching, they didn't have any hitting, they had a rough time. About 2 years ago, they started coming around a little bit. Then we just beat them pretty good, but not by 20-0. But we beat them 9-5, 10-4, that kind of way. Well, this year, we played them preseason the first 2 games. We split that series. But then, as you said, we took and lost 5-0 in the first game. The coaching they have there is just amazing, because I know the 2 coaches, Jeff Roberts and Joel Dowling, both coached for about 5 years at MCC at what is now, what is it called now?
SCF, State College of Florida.
I can never get that down pat, because
Yeah,
it'll
me
always be
either.
MCC to me. But they coached for 5 years there, and I know Joe also coached at Lakewood Ranch High for 5 years, and Jeff coached at Sarasota for about 11 years. So the talent they have in coaching-wise is just amazing. To go from for a 4A school, which was certainly below 500, to get that kind of coaching and looking as well as they have today, I think that's just amazing. So kudos to Booker for choosing the right coaches, getting them in there. I don't know how they got them in there, but to get them in there, and they're probably going to improve year after year.
And even the last few years before Jeff and Joe came in, the team's been improving steadily.
You're right, absolutely.
Which is really good to see. I mean, it's good to see programs improving, kids improving.
And a little change up. It's going to be almost like a bunt, and they're not even going to make a play on it.
A nice swinging bunt by Brianna Mays there. Nice job to run that out. Tough ball. Lots of times as much spin as those will have, and if we see on the replay, can't quite see it there. That ball just sat there and spun. Lots of times you're looking for it to grab a little in the dirt and spin out of bounds. That thing almost dug itself down into the dirt. So Brianna Mays able to lead off the inning. And with good speed on the bases, let's see if Ivy Turner
swing and a miss.
Bring her around.
Swing and a miss on Ivy Turner for strike one. I did notice when they did that replay, though, that first baseman was taking most of that base up and pulled her foot off just at the last second. So that leads me to believe that they're going to have some, if there's a potential call there, Southeast should be looking for that. Okay, 2 strikes on Ivy. Ivy's a good hitter with 2 strikes. She knows how to protect that plate. Outside. And Brianna slides in for
Brianna Mays with the good speed. They send her on that one. Nice throw down by the catcher, Jemiah Woodard. But
let's see that replay right now as she's going down there. And she bobbles the ball before she ever got it. So
yeah, nice slide. No control of the ball. Good call by the umpire. Now Ivy Turner's looking to bring her in here. Shot to the outfield if she can do it.
Evens the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Work back from that 2-strike count. A little enthusiasm out of the Southeast bench. No.
And again, we see that changeup with 2 strikes. Not right away, but figured at some point it was coming.
We predicted that, didn't we, before? Well, they also probably got a book on her now at the start of the game because that's not the first time.
Well, I think Ivy and Katie Sepper are friends, I believe. I think they know each other pretty well.
But
In which case, I'm sure they know her tendencies.
Right. But Ivy should realize that changeup is going to come sooner or later. And the reason why is she's such an aggressive hitter up there. Like that right there.
Now that one's dropping in. There we go. So Shailene Holt again with that shot to right field. Manages to not keep this one in the air quite as long. That drops in. Drops in. Brianna Mays advances to third.
Well, let's set it up here. We got runners at the corners, first and third, with Christina Olin up. Let's see how Coach Jack and Bill play this one.
So in this case, you're typically looking for the steal here.
We got
pretty much automatic.
And
she comes out on it with a well-hit ball. The shortstop can't handle it. I'm a little surprised. Usually the book on that is fake bunt steal to advance. She comes up swinging. And really nice contact to drive in the run. Gets the Seminoles on the board.
And I believe the expression is, hit the ball hard, good things happen. And sure as heck, that's exactly what happened. Swing and miss on Emma Rissman up. We give that an E6, and Emma's got a 1 strike on her. Got runners at first and second. Count 1-1. Now this could, if they could try, they only have 1 out, and they got 2 runners on. So they can put the ball in play, put a couple more runners in scoring position. They can change the outlook of this game. And a strike right down the middle for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Emma. Let's see what we got here. What do you think?
Oh, wow.
And a double play.
And again. Wow.
And a double
I'll tell
play.
You, I think Emma knew that pitch was coming, sat back on that changeup that stayed up in the zone, drilled it. But
and you know what? That's a reaction play by that pitcher. She didn't even have to look at it. She just put her glove there and it was there. Okay, after the 4th inning, the score is 4-1 Booker. We'll be right back for the next inning after these important public service announcements. You're watching Seminole Baseball on SE TV.
Picture. My friends and I were going to the beach, and I just bought a brand new bathing suit. So I took a picture and I posted it on Facebook. I didn't think it was anything bad or racy, but now everyone at school has seen it and they're saying bad things about me. I never wanted to come to this. I didn't think any of this would happen. I wish I could just take it back, but I can't.
Think before you click.
Always think before you click. Absolutely. I always had a problem with that, and I finally have cured it, and I now think before I click. Well, what do you think about our coaches here at Southeast there, Coach Stevens?
So Coach Jack Howell's here in his, I believe, 8th season? I always forget this. 8th or 9th?
No,
was
it's
it?
9th.
9th? Okay, thank you. Should know
The
that.
reason why I know that is I just got my 5-year extension, so this is going to be, after that, I'd be here for 13 years.
Aha, wow.
Yeah.
So Jack's done a great job with this program. You won't find a coach anywhere, I don't care where you look, who puts in as much time and effort
Hitter.
with his kids. Very nice. Out on the bunt. So, bunt out. What we saw here, and especially if we get a replay on it, is typically if the ball hits the runner or the batter and they're in the box, okay, it's a foul ball, do it again. That one hit her out of the box. Once you're out of the box, if you were hit with a batted ball as a base runner, you're out. So what we saw right there was that exactly. Wow, well struck ball by Sepper.
That's right against the fence. Let's see what you can hold her to. Get that relay in. Nope, she's going to get a double out of it. Not quite hitting the relay, but didn't do any damage. She's got that double.
No, I was a little surprised. I don't know if Christina Owen in right field thought that went over. She kind of stood for a second before picking that up. We'll see her on the replay. No, she was getting back to it. Okay.
Well, that's 3 for 3 for KT Setter. That's obviously not only she been working on her pitching, but her hitting's improved quite a bit. Down the middle for strike 1 on Brandy Thibodeau. Brandy, as you know, is the shortstop. And fouls that off. She got jammed a little bit on that one for 2 strikes.
The other thing that makes that dangerous, kind of the combination with Sepper hitting like that, then they take her out. They put speed on base with the runner, because in high school ball you can put in a runner for your pitcher or catcher.
A nice change up by Megan Stevens, and luckily Brandy could hold back on that one, but she did a good job of protecting. Yeah, you're bringing in Miss Randall, number 10 for Booker, and she's a senior also, but she's the courtesy runner. And strike 3 on Brandy. Gives you 2 strikes, 2 outs, with the runner still on second. Bringing up Sierra Morrison, the first baseman. Sierra has flied out to center field and flied out to first base last 2 times up. Chops at 1, foul for strike 1.
So we'll see if the first baseman Morrison here can stay true to form. The Knowles would definitely take a fly out here to end the inning.
Well, I know that one she hit to center field, she hit pretty well, so I'd rather just have her tap it. And tip ball for strike 2. Way to hang on to it, catcher.
Now I hit the count. No balls, 2 strikes. We'll see what they come with here, if they're going to try and keep her off the plate.
And wastes the pitch.
Yeah, so high and up, not a bad one to go after. As far as the pitch call. I'm not talking about the batter.
Absolutely.
You know, you try and get that batter back on her heels to where she's got to protect.
Change up for
And
strike 3.
there's that change up, strike 3.
Yeah,
Out of the
it's
inning.
Working for both of them, I guess. So we got 4 up and 3 down. Runner left on second base in the middle of the inning here. Well, you were talking about the coaches. You mentioned Coach Howell's been here for 9 years, and just a tremendous manager. He manages the place. He manages the team so well. But the things I would never want to do or could do or want to do is, you know, all the other stuff besides just coaching. It really takes a talent. People don't realize that coaches have to have so much to do. Everything from uniforms to schedules to taking care of the infield, to cutting the grass. I mean, there's 10 million things that you have to do.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even go over all of them.
And that's before you even give
before-
the first bit of instruction to the kids.
Exactly. And he has the tools and has the motivation to do all that, and does a great job.
And aside from putting in the time, though, the thing I love about Coach Jack is how much he cares for these girls. And I mean, genuinely cares for every player on this team. And it's always been like that. It's fantastic to see. You see a lot of coaches where you get the impression that it's more about the program and about maybe a legacy or even about them. I've seen that. I've had that opinion of some coaches sometimes. Never had that opinion with Jack. For him, it's about the kids and get them out here and trying to make these young ladies not just better players, but better people, better adults.
Well, not only is Coach Jack here, I know when Coach Jack started off, I started off with him also. I was coaching JVs the first year he coached varsity. But also Coach Bill has been here the same amount of time. Took a couple years off, but has been here for 9 years at least. And he's been, he does the majority of the infield and working with the team, and has done a super job. He also, I know, cares very much about the players who little drive into the gap.
Nice job by Lindsey Dowling. Reaching out, taking that ball to right field where that pitch is. Now she's going to advance to second here. Heads up. Good heads up running.
Bad throw.
Nice lead. She saw that. She saw that throw coming in and not hitting the cutoff.
If we got a replay of that, that'd be wonderful. And I think we do. As you can see, she knocks it into the gap. Picked up very quickly by the right fielder, but on her throw, she overthrows that cutoff or overthrows second base, and that allows Lindsay to, who's not the fastest runner in the world, to make second base easily. And
So Susan Gibson doing a nice job there to advance Lindsay over to third base.
1-3 is the way we'd score that, but that puts a runner in scoring position 60 feet away from the plate. And that brings up Emma Barges, the center fielder. Emma Barges hit back to the pitcher last time.
So now Emma looking to get a ball in play here if she can, at least to the back of the infield.
And fouls one off. A little late on that one.
Anything pitcher's mound forward is going to be tough to advance Lindsay from third. So you're looking to get a ground ball, if not through the infield, at least dip it deep in the infield. If you get one to the grass, we'll cut this lead back to half.
And tries a bunt and strike.
Coach Jack going with the squeeze play there.
I think that was a safety squeeze, thank goodness.
Yes.
Not a suicide.
So difference for the viewers, most of you may know this, but safety squeeze, you're going to wait as the runner to make sure that that ball is down on the ground. Suicide squeeze, you're going on the pitch and relying on that batter to do anything and everything they can do or have to do to get that bat on the ball and get that ball out.
2 strikes and an outside pitch brings the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good eye by Emma Barges. Looks like she's not bunting now, so that's kind of taken that away, even though your corners are in. Oh, right at the knees for strike 3.
Nice pitch. Nice job by Sepper changing that up. She's going outside, outside, outside.
Well, this
Gets
brings
Emma
up...
Barges looking outside, and that comes in on the inside of the plate.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it starts to look really inside.
Yep.
Got her to back off the plate.
Yep.
Got her looking.
Yep. That shows that movement on the ball that your pitcher has. I don't quite understand the conference right now. I think they're trying to figure out what they're going to pitch to Megan.
Yeah.
With a runner on third. Again, Megan is one of the better hitters here at Southeast, and
Yeah, I mean, Southeast has a situation they want here. We're back to the top of the order. Meg Stevens leads the team in hitting at .408 coming into this game. So what she's looking for is to be patient, lay off. Got around on that first one, rolled over the top a little bit. Second one, Went for that one up, so really going to have to be patient, lay off anything at the top of the zone.
Ooh, on the outside corner for a strike. Okay. That looked a touch outside to me, but I'm not the umpire.
Yeah. And lots of times you'll see her lay off of that, not one she handles exceptionally well. She's looking for a better pitch to hit with that new count.
That's one. Oh, pops it up to first base. And 3 outs.
Well, she got the pitch she wanted to hit, but just not getting the bat on it the way she wants to.
She flied out, and after 5 innings, the score is 4-1 still for Booker. We'll be right back for the 6th inning after these important public service announcements. You're watching Seminole Softball on SCTV.
I hate this place. I'm all alone. They're all laughing at me. Maybe I should just end it all.
And don't you worry, Coach Stevens. You do not have to commit suicide because we're down 4-1. Okay, I know you're feeling that way. Don't do it.
Thanks
okay?
for talking me down, Don.
Thank God we got this hotline going. I'm telling you right now, without this hotline, we might be losing an announcer. Okay. What is the record, by the way, of these two teams? Do you know, Coach Scott?
Yeah, Southeast comes in at 4-14.
Uh-huh.
All right, and Booker's coming in, I believe, at 5-12. So pretty close.
I know
This
that the common teams they played, right on the outside corner, beautiful pitch. I know the common opponents they played, I know they played Braden Christian twice. Booker split with Braden Christian. They won at their home and lost away, whereas Southeast beat Braden and Christian both times fairly soundly.
Yeah, yep. Now, Booker did beat St. Stephen's. We lost to St. Stephen's. Against Sarasota Christian, I know Booker played them tighter than we did, at least the second time around. So it comes down a little bit to the matchups. These two teams, this is the 4th time we've met this season.
If you look at the history of the teams, you cannot predict the winner in this game.
No, it's going to come down to who plays, well,
Airless Ball, who plays
Big
nice
K.
pitch. Tagger.
So, be yelling out. I'll drop third strike. The runner is able to advance if she goes. The catcher then has the option to either tag the runner or throw down to first.
Yeah, but
with
the one thing you
the
don't
batter there, you always want the easy play.
So many things can go wrong when you throw that down there.
You don't want to make any play harder than it needs to be. So as we were talking about defense here,
Ooh.
you know, Southeast with a. He was not happy with that call.
I don't play.
Pretty good. Right at the knees. But, you know, Southeast having those 2 errors, that led to a couple of runs. Wow. Nice bare play by Susan Gibson at third base. I wasn't sure how that call was going to go at first.
Well, we're a little ways away from first base, so we're not sure how close that was, but let's check out it on the replay. She looks like, no, that's good. She got her by half a step.
Beautiful replay. Nice job again by the camera crew. Those live are just tough for me to see sometimes.
Yeah, well, we're a little ways away
really
from first
pick it
base.
up there on the replay.
And again,
Nice play by Susan Gibson.
And
with the
again.
backhand right down the line.
absolutely wonderful play by, man, that's
Let's
some
talk
good-
about Susan for a little bit. Didn't start off the season playing third base. She was playing a little bit of outfield. There was some question where we would play her this season. Decided to put her in at third base. She came in, I mean, I'll tell you, she was scared to death. Did not want to be there, but stuck it out. Has worked really hard. And there are a couple of games here, really, and as you'll see on that play, the other game against Bayshore, where she's really turned into a solid defensive third baseman. It's great to see.
Let me just add to that, Coach Scott. You and I were both watching that play at Bayshore where it was hit in the dirt. She grabbed it bare hand, almost in foul territory, without even looking, turned and fired it to first base on a runner that was just charging down that line for an easy out. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I know you were mystified by how great a play that was.
She fielded the ball and leaped into the air, made the throw, not even touching the ground, and threw a strike to first base. It was so cool. We looked at each other like, man, did you see that?
Kind of one of those plays that you want to like videotape and now I can show my freshmen exactly how to do it, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, coming up to the middle of the inning here in sixth inning. We only got 9 outs left or 6 outs left. Is Brianna Mays.
So Brianna had that ground ball hit that went about 4 feet in front of the plate last time. And I'll tell you what, she'd take it again.
And she flew down that first baseline. Need a runner. That was a questionable strike, but 2 strikes either way.
So see now if Brianna can protect this plate. Maybe expect that change up. Nope. Comes outside, doesn't get her to chase. Sepper looking for that call.
That's a great pitch by the pitcher there.
Yeah,
Sepper.
it was.
I would have told her to pitch that if I could. A little high, a little outside. Just barely. She's
looking for that call.
She's all around that plate.
Oh yeah, she is. And she's not up by much.
As a pitcher,
that one just off the plate at top corner of the strike zone. See if she comes down with this changeup. There it is.
In the dirt. Brings the count full. So working back from 2 strikes to 3 and 2.
So luckily that one wasn't on.
Very good at bat. Now.
You see Brianna Mays up on the plate a little bit more, looking to protect on that outside pitch. But Sepper with a nice job. We've been telling the girls, be careful about creeping up on the plate on that outside pitch, because just like I'll do on pitch calling, as soon as you see the kids up on the plate, you're going to get a ball inside. And that one is really just almost an exact same replay of what we saw against Emma Barges that last inning, where the ball is still over the plate.
Yeah, the swing and a foul ball by Ivy.
After seeing those outside pitches, it looks so inside, the girls are backing off.
Yeah, changing your eyes, either up or down or in or out. It's very important for a pitcher.
So Katie Sepper really doing a nice job locating the pitches. She's showing good control. I think better control than we've seen out of her.
A little high for ball 1.
At least that I remember. And I
well,
can remember
Katie has a major problem, and her major problem is no one says her name correctly. So that's her major problem. But her pitching is pretty darn good.
So how do you say it?
KT.
KT? Ah.
Not Katie.
So I've been wrong this whole time.
I didn't want to mention anything.
Now I'm going to get that call from the quality assurance people. I told you it was coming.
Well, you probably get it from KT's parents. They'll be calling you up. They'll be watching it tonight right after the game. Pops it up. It's a high fly ball and grabbed by the second baseman.
Interesting. I can't remember the last time I've seen Ivy go to the right side of the field on that. She'll usually pull that ball. Well, not good or bad. I'm just saying it's just interesting. But nice job again by the defense. So back to what we were saying. I kind of started this before. Southeast with the two errors to account for a couple runs. Actually, yeah, both of those were unearned that inning. I'm getting a call on that one.
Yep.
That looked a little outside. Opposite for Booker. They've managed to make the plays. That ball coming straight back at Don's head.
Right in the middle of your talking, I'm getting a ball in the mouth.
Even with the chain link fence, you were ducking out of the way. I don't blame you. Just a natural reaction.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm laughing about that one.
Yeah,
wow, there's
the
change up.
And that's strike 3, and that's 3 up, 3 down.
So Sepper rings up another couple change ups. We're heading to the 7th inning.
And we'll be right back with the score 4-1 Booker. We'll be right back for the last and final inning, the 7th inning, after these important public service announcements. You're watching Seminole Softball on SE TV. Okay, I'm not going to do any drugs because they do cost you your dreams. No, I'm very serious. My dreams were... Hold it, I didn't do any drugs. Never mind. I still have my dreams. Okay,
Good. I would hate to think your dreams have been crushed.
Well, they've been crushed, but it wasn't by drugs, unfortunately. It was by this announcing here at softball when we're down 4-1. Okay, coming up the plate.
Saria Gibbons, center fielder, leading us off.
Takes a strike or bunts out a strike.
I want to talk for a minute while this is going on. Let's talk about senior night here. Six seniors.
Yes.
Off of this Southeast team. Pretty heavily loaded with seniors. It's always fun being here senior night, but it's sad. You're talking about 6 families who, I mean, you know, your daughter Michelle played. You look at all the years you've been out, rec ball, travel ball, up at 4 in the morning for tournaments. And get you swinging. Nice job. 1 up, 1 down. Hours and hours hitting, out pitching practice. All the balls you take in the shins. You know, you look at other parents here. All the hours helping out here on the field, in the concession stands, everything. It's when you think about youth sports, a lot of what you think about is the time the kids put in, but it's really an investment by an entire family.
That's right.
And a commitment. And so these days are kind of bittersweet for a lot of parents. I'm certain for all 6 sets of parents. I know it is for me, especially just looking back at the great times. And when you think about a way to spend a childhood growing up, well, what better way, what better place is there to do it in on a ball field?
Oh my gosh, they couldn't ask for anything better than that.
Great throw by Ivy Turner.
Oh,
wow.
Very close play.
Wow, I
Good
was
throw
curious
down
how that
there.
was going to go.
Very good throw down there. If we got that on replay, I'd like to see that.
I would too, because you see the umpire, he was there behind the play. Well, I think she got in. I think it was a good call.
That's a really close play now.
I was just curious from his position if he was going to be blocked a little bit. Nice call. And he's made great calls. We saw another close call on first base.
Yep.
Nice officiating tonight.
I don't like to say that ever. I think that's wrong to say that we have good officiating. That goes against everything we ever believed in softball, baseball fans.
You know, you want to give your hats off to the opponents when they play well, when they turn the plays. We got to do the same.
To do that?
Got to do the same for the
come
umpires.
on. Right,
I can't be a well, I can.
I'm a homer. I'm going to be. I admit I'm a homer. Okay, 1 down. Count 1 ball, 1 strike to Chanel Elliott. And takes one in the dirt.
The ball's on the ground. Susan Gibson, they took a ball in the hand.
Now,
Gotta follow that.
Shaylin made I thought, a good decision to go on to third.
Yeah, I think so.
She didn't have the runner at first. After that bobble, she didn't have her. Then she makes that throw there. Unfortunately, the throw was off.
Yeah, nice try.
But I still think that was a good play. Unfortunately, though, what happened is that the runner on first went down to second on that play. So now you got 2 runners in scoring position with only 1 out.
And look who's up to the plate.
Yeah,
K.T. Sepper, who we've not been able to get out.
Often. And we're being careful with her. 0 from all 2.
So they've got room to put her on if they want to try and work around her.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You don't have a lot. You got Brandy coming up, and she struck out a couple times. She did hit a single, but she struck out a couple times after
Yeah,
that.
and well, you can see they're going outside. I'm sure Coach Bill, who's calling pitches tonight, is saying, all right, whatever you do.
Don't throw a strike.
Do not. Because this game could be out on UC. Wow, so that was interesting. You saw catcher Ivy Turner up out of her crouch. That was going to be an intentional walk. And Sepper goes out and reaches out to put that ball in play and still drive in a run.
And get an RBI.
So the play goes 4-3, but Booker plates another run.
Yeah, 2 outs, no bad.
So hey, nice unselfish play by Sepper. I'm sure knowing that she probably can't get all the bat on that ball that she wants to, but saying, if I put this ball in play, we got to run it.
And again, ball high, and it's going to score another run.
So ground ball just past Emma Rissman at second base. Ball mishandled there a little bit by Brianna Mays. I think otherwise might have been able to hold that runner or have a play at the plate.
Well, yeah, she would have had to pick that up as she was coming in and make the throw directly to home.
Yeah.
To get her. And back
I
to
think
the
that may
pitcher.
still going to be scored an error on that.
Yeah, E4.
So
there's 1 to 3.
well, I think it'd probably be E9 on that, but just on the bobble.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, you're looking here again, 2 more runs, but what I think probably would be score 2 more errors by Southeast, and they got their work cut out for them going here to the bottom of the 7th, down 5. You know, when you're told, you know, and you don't have to tell the kids, if you want to win 1 game this year, it's senior night. And it's obviously the home team is always got the greater motivation. There is always a nice satisfaction if you could spoil somebody's senior night. But you know the home team's going to want a little more. But Booker really is playing nice ball tonight. We're seeing a great pitching performance. Sepper so far with 6 strikeouts. You know, that's Meg Stevens so far has matched her with 6. But
Well,
I think
they've had
Booker
a few
able to
more
get
hits and a few errors that
yeah,
have
Booker
contributed.
able to get the bat on the ball a little better. When we've gotten the bat on the ball, their defense has been able to turn plays, and that's kind of been a difference there. I've got no recorded errors for Booker, so you know, and generally you say, and lots of times an error equates to a run. You know, and we're right in that ballpark. It's kind of a good.
Well, also, if your pitcher is pitching a lot of strikes, that makes a big difference. And if you're hitting weak grounders or hitting to the right side, not getting around to the ball,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of reasons for not having errors. And you can see that change up with the really good delivery, making it look like a fastball.
So Christina Olin up, looking to hit the ball like she did last time. She had a sharp ground ball to Brandy Thibodeau at shortstop, which she wasn't able to handle. There's that changeup.
There's 2 strikes.
Double deadly when it goes to the outside. On an outside pitch, you really got to let that ball get deeper. And so when you're ahead of a pitch that far, even you put that pitch on the outside, and you got to wait even longer. And if you really don't pick it up right out of the hand, it's tough.
And there's a solid hit to left field, and gets
And
fired.
we see
She's going to
finally.
get 2 at least on this one, and she's going to hold. They're going to hold her at 2. So you got the leader
Beautiful
lead
shot
runner
by
on a double.
Christina, I think, is hitting the ball as well as I've seen her hit the ball tonight. So nice. What a perfect night to do it here on senior night.
I'm with
Christina,
you
one of our
100%.
seniors.
That brings up Emma Rissman. Takes a ball outside.
Emma last time up struck that ball extremely sharply. Had that comebacker right
to the pitcher.
And Booker able to turn a double play to get out of the threat that inning.
think she needs a little quicker bat up there.
Well, should be looking to hit. Emma Rissman, another one of our seniors. Trying to get her money's worth here on senior night.
1 ball, 1 strike. Runner on second, no outs. And in the dirt for ball 2. You wonder if, I haven't seen the pitcher throw in the dirt here maybe twice tonight.
No.
You wonder if the fact that there's no outs and a runner on second affects him at all. And a strike, and it's going to fall fair.
That ball's hitting the chalk.
And coming home.
Foul. I saw there was chalk kicking up on that.
I thought so too.
Wow. Let's see if we got a
Let's see if we
replay
got
on
a
this.
replay on that? But I don't know if we have a replay or not, but that would be a great one to see because, well, I guess we don't.
Wow, looking down there was a cloud of chalk kicking up. I was
saw it
really
too.
surprised to see that call.
Okay, that one's a foul.
Boy, it's hard to sit here and not cheer, isn't it?
I never cheer. I'm not a homer like you. I just...
I just don't want to be yelling in all our listeners' ears here.
Yeah, well, for all our listeners out there, viewers, let me tell you right now, we're both rooting for Southeast, and there's no way around it. And we don't care. we admit it freely, and a nice... She gets around on a off speed and drives it foul on the third baseline.
Well done. This is SETV.
And you know what's going to happen now.
It would be asking too much for us to be completely impartial.
So, Southeast Television, is that what that is, SETV?
Yes, it is.
Okay. It's not Booker TV? Okay. All right. And outside, bringing the count full.
Wow, Emma
That's
Rissman
a
showing
great
some good
at-bat by
patience. She
Emma.
turned quickly to see what the call was going to be on that, but good call. That's a pitch he's not been calling, so.
Still no's out. Still nobody out. Runner on second.
I was just going to say, see if she comes inside now, because that's been kind of her MO now. Go outside, 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 and then
inside.
Bust it inside. So really a nice at-bat by Emma Rissman. But in the end, that battle goes to Sepper. Lindsey Gano now up at the plate.
And drives it almost to right field. Again, a little late on it, just a little late with that poke and choke. Choke and poke, excuse me.
So Lindsey lined it into right field for a hitter last time up. Looking to repeat that.
And a little outside, ball 2, ball 1. Brings the count 1-1.
So interesting, Christina Olin on second base that we saw there.
Uh-huh.
No one her knee's been hurting her. It's kind of interesting. On one hand, you might think, put in a pinch runner, 7th inning. At the same time, I don't know if Jack's thinking, you know what, great hit, senior. She earned the right to be there.
Yeah. She did that. But she's not taking that much of a lead. If you'll notice, the shortstop's playing in the hole, and there's a gap is between short and second.
Big gap right up the
Big
middle.
gap between there. And I would have her a little outside for ball 2. I would have her taking a much bigger lead on second base. Second baseman doesn't have time to get over there. If they do make the throw down, she should be on third anyways. Right to the first baseman. Never run into an out.
So in that case, I was thinking the same thing. We see that tag. First baseman comes up the line. Is the batter what you want to do? Stop.
Stop.
Start walking.
You can't go backwards, but you
At
gotta
that
stop.
point, you know you're going to be out. What you have to do is buy time for that runner getting to third.
Right.
So the Lady Knowles down to their last out here. Brings up Susan Gibson. That ball past the second baseman. That's going to play the run and past the right fielder. Gibson on her way. That throw comes in, standing up at second. So nice job by another one of our seniors, Susan Gibson,
Nice job.
keeping this game alive.
As an overall game, Susan has been doing absolutely spectacular this game.
Yes, she is.
That's
That's her
gonna-
second hit of the game.
That's got to bring a conference for everybody up there. Coach Roberts goes out to talk to his pitcher, get her calmed down, saying, look, hey, we only need one more out. Let's take and relax. Just throw to the hitter.
Coach Jack House there talking with his batter, Emma Dargis, discussing strategy, how he'd like her to attack this at bat.
Remember, if for some reason Emma gets on, we're going to go back to the top of the lineup with Megan Stevens starting us off. And she hits it to the second baseman, who tosses it for the final out of the game.
So good speed, but easy play for the second baseman, and that's the game. So Southeast drops the game 6-2 on senior night to the Booker Tornadoes.
That's a tough way to lose, but you know what? They had their opportunities during the game and weren't able to take advantage of them. We got some good play from some of the seniors. Great pitching job of Meg Stevens, as much as she could do. No major errors after the third and fourth inning. They started shutting them down, but a little too late. Once they give up those 6 runs. Last game they lost 5-0. This is one was 6-2, so it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
What are your final thoughts on this, Coach Scott?
Well, a hard-played game by both teams, as you said. Southeast did have their opportunities, unable to capitalize on a few of those. I'd say in good part by Sepper's pitching. She did a great job. Good sequences on her pitches, way to move the ball around. Again, working that plate outside, busting the hitters back on the inside. Both pitchers doing a nice job, I thought. 6 strikeouts apiece, if I got that count right. Again, as a lot of these games have, little things here and there, and then you look at the difference between these two teams tonight in their defense and the errors, and that's really, I think, where you're going to find the key difference in that final score.
Very good. Very, very well said. I do want to mention to everybody that Southeast has a doubleheader tomorrow. They'll be playing a team from Kentucky, Pulaski High, I believe. And the next game is at 4:30 tomorrow, and they have a doubleheader with a second game starting after that. Well, for SCTV and sports, thank you so much for listening and viewing. I'd like to thank my co-host for the last time, Mr. Scott Stevens, who's not only been a coach here, but has been just a tremendous friend for me and certainly a co-host that is extraordinaire. And hopefully he'll be back next year to do this again. But we really appreciate everything he's done. So for Don McGee and Scott Stevens, have a great night.
Thanks.